long would you say you step away from your desk for lunch or to grab a cup of coffee? Well, you better watch out because all those minutes could be counted against you. Case in point, employees at the SEC are being warned that every break they take is being recorded and can be used against them. That's encouraging. It's a classic case of micromanaging. And if you ask me, probably the perfect way to upset your staff. Do you like it or hate it? It's today's Money Talker, and here now, Julie Roginski, Steve Moore, and Ari Zoldan. What do you guys think? I mean, it's all about sort of the badges that we have that you wear around, and you go through security, and they can tell when you're coming and you're leaving, and when you're at your desk. Julie, what do you think?
Well, I gorge myself on the brownies in the green room for lunch. That's usually my lunch, sometimes my dinner. Like
There's
right
a camera in there, so they know about it.
You know what? Congratulations, Fox. You spent all that money purely on me because I'm the only one that eats it. I hate it.
You hate this?
I hate it because my attitude is if you have to micromanage people, then, like, why would they be worried? My whole thing is empower your employees, let them do their thing, and if they stink, get rid of them. But why micromanage them? If they're not good, if they don't want to step up themselves, that's when you get rid of them.
I thought what was funny was that the SEC is spying on their employees.
Right.
That's okay with me as long as they're not spying. SEC isn't spying on me.
That's the first thing I thought is that the SEC is really showing us how they feel about everyone. I mean, if they're spying on their employees, they're spying on all of us, and they are without question, right?
Well, look, when you take a job, you know, you're under the rules of the employer, but you know, this seems to be going a bit too far. When they're monitoring every one of your phone calls, where you're going, what you're looking at on your computer, I'm with you. I mean, if you're doing your job and you're meeting the performance standards, you know, so what if you're...
But maybe that's what this is about, Ari. It's about the people who aren't doing their job and they're building a record to say, look, you didn't work as... I mean, your work wasn't what we thought it should be. And when we look at your ID card, you're spending all this time outside the building. Right. I mean, you're not in your office. You're not at your desk. So no wonder you're not doing your job.
Well, of course, having this kind of tracking technology is phenomenal, right? So, Melissa, you said you have a pass, you could check in, you could check out, right? There's a recording, fortunately or unfortunately, a recording of where you are.
Forever.
But in terms of actually, you know, I think it's about effective management, right? You have a boss, you have employees. How do you actually encourage the talent to be able to really harness their good core deeds and be able to...
So what would you do differently? What would you do differently? You have somebody, for example, who's... every time you go by their office, they're not there, or their desk, they're not there. You're really frustrated. How do you, rather than punish them, encourage them to do better?
Right. So it's not so much about punishing. I mean, if they're good, like you said, we try to get rid of them. And I think typically within the first, you know, probably 30 days, you could really size somebody up pretty quickly whether or not they would be the ideal employee. And if they're not the ideal employee, sitting down with them and trying to figure out, hey, you know, what are your strong points and what are your pain points? And if there are pain points that a manager or a boss can actually really target and understand, because it's the goal of the boss to be able to bring out the qualities of the actual individual and to pull out that talent.
So I really don't care if somebody works for me, whether they show up at 9 and leave at 5. I don't care if they deliver what they need to deliver to me at midnight, as long as they deliver it on time and when they need to do it. I don't care. They can manage their own time the way they want. I really don't.
I mean, if somebody's like not putting in the full day and you're
as long as they're delivering what I need them to deliver. So the task that I give them, I would hope it takes them a day or longer
but Julie,
to deliver.
in a large organization, it's very, very hard to do.
Right.
So it's sort of like, you know, if you're managing 500 people and you say, okay, as long as you give it to me by 5 p.m., it's fine. And then you come into the office and you look around and there's actually nobody there, or they're in their brownie room.
And it goes beyond the
brownie. Do not underestimate the brownie room.
I won't.
I mean, that could be energizing you. I mean, that's the other thing.
Now you're getting really personal. Now you're getting personal. Now you're getting personal.
You have some brownie over here.
I know, probably right here, right? I might have some between my teeth. Sorry.
I mean, it goes along the same lines. 54% of companies say that they have stopped their employees from going on social media sites. They don't want. I mean, just because you're at the desk you're at your desk doesn't mean you're being productive. You could be on there on Facebook.
Look, listen, my guys aren't on social media all the time, and it's troubling. I see them. It's either Facebook, it's Pinterest, it's Instagram.
So fire them.
They are on
blah blah.
Yeah,
they are, but it's almost like no, you can't.
So
yes, you can. You're saying you can't stop them? Yes, you can. 54% of companies do.
You're able to. The problem is if you have somebody that's really good, right? And yeah, you know, they are spending, let's say, 25 minutes a day on. So, you know, what do? Do you say, hey, no more social media? Well, then they have their phone, and then they.
But are they creating the product that you want them to create? Like if I were working at Apple and somebody told me design the new iPad or something, which I know nothing about, but if somebody said design the new iPad, I don't really care what time it takes me to design it. I have a task, and my job is to design the new iPad. I can do it at 1 a.m. I could be on social media 24 hours.
Yeah, but collaboration is important also.
Whatever. If the team isn't getting it done.
Telecommuting is great, but like, if you can collaborate around a table and have that face-to-face interaction, there's so much more value.
Where are you going to draw the line here? I mean, do you want the cameras on your employees all the time? Are you going to monitor?
Aren't they already? I
Are
mean,
you
aren't
going to
there?
monitor their emails? You're going to monitor their tweets?
They
You're
are.
gonna- and I think that's an invasion of privacy. Look, I've been an employer. Sometimes I'd walk by the person's office and the person was playing, a card game on
Right.
the computer. And,
Or shopping online.
That's simply, that's not something that somebody should be doing on the job. But I'm very uneasy about all of this stuff being hacked by the
Isn't
employer.
it the reality, though, now that everything you just mentioned is already happening? There are cameras.
That doesn't make
your
it right.
badges. It doesn't make it right.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that employers shouldn't be snooping on you if you're.
They
doing
can
that.
read your email. They are seeing how much time you spend on whatever website. They can create a record of everything that you've been doing if they want to get rid of you. They do know when you're going.
I
in
bet
and out
every
the
one of
building.
us here, everyone watching the show has sent an email from work that was a private thing that probably
How
shouldn't have
dare
been
you.
done, and they don't want everybody reading it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we all do that.
But the reality is they can. All right, guys. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
My pleasure.
Next.